with KLA.
Isn't he just minty?
I can't see anything in him myself. How about you, Brains?
I'm afraid music in the modern idiom is too repetitive for my taste. But I must admit the rhythm has a certain hypnotic effect.
You're just jealous.
Jealous? Why should I be jealous of that clown?
Now, wait a minute. I think you're all overlooking one important point. Those TV cats are coming from an unauthorized satellite, a pirate.
Oh, what harm does it do, Mr. Tracy?
It's more than harmful, Tintin. It's dangerous. The many satellites orbiting the world travel in an exact internationally controlled path. But that TV station is not controlled. It's a menace. And it could cause a very serious accident.
For the last time, Loman, it's Rick O'Shea. Got it? Yeah, I've got it, as you so quaintly put it. Well, you loused it up twice during the last session. I doubt if anyone was foolish enough to be tuned in. Very funny. How I ever got landed with a guy like you, I'll never know. The feeling's mutual, I assure you.
Back on Earth, preparations were in the final stage for the launching of a Sentinel communications satellite.
-180 seconds. -120, 120 seconds.
Oh, Power, just a quick word.
Oh, hello, Professor.
Your transfer to area control has come through.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I'll be sorry to leave here.
I understand, Power. Automated launchings can be very boring.
-60 seconds.
Well, may I wish you the very best of luck for the future.
Thank you, Professor.
-10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Everything here seems under control. I'll see you again before you leave.
Fine. Thank you again, Professor. Professor, emergency.
What's wrong?
I'll get a computer readout. The second stage has failed to separate.
It looks bad. I'll switch to manual control. Contact ISC for clearance. I can't take a chance. We'll have to abort.
International Space Control. Calling International Space Control. This is Sentinel Base. International Space Control, come in, please.
International Space Control, go ahead.
This is Sentinel Base. We have a stage failure on a Telsat 4. Request clearance to destroy.
We'll calculate clear station and inform you. Out.
Don't look so unhappy, Power. There's nothing we can do until they give us the data.
It's just that it's the first one I've lost.
New things happen. That's why we have ISC.
Yeah, it's a good system.
If they didn't give us confirmation, there's every danger of destroying another satellite. But with a complete record, international control can allocate an area and space clear of all other orbits.
That's it. That's great. I got it. Hey, Loman, how high do we orbit?
Perigee 120.5 miles, apogee 140.2.
Average 128, okay?
Near 130.
Well, what's a mile or so? Listen, the station that's great. From 1 to 8. Get it? 1 to 8 miles. What do you think?
Fantastic.
International Space Control to Sentinel Base.
Here it comes. Sentinel Base. Go ahead, ISC.
Here's the information you requested. Deceleration and gravipull have been taken into account. Trajectory 0.89 permanent. Time 1 minute 07 seconds. Area reference A4. Destruction altitude 128 miles. Repeat, 128 miles.
Information understood. Thank you, ISC. Out.
Set detonation for 52 seconds, 128 miles.
All set. Detonation minus 38 seconds.
The station that's great from 1 to 8.
10 seconds.
Detonate. Everyone becomes involved in a bad launch. Don't blame yourself, Power.
I just wish my last one from here hadn't turned out this way.
Well, there's one consolation. No lives were endangered.
The professor was wrong. But fortunately, O'Shea and Holman were only stunned.
O'Shea, you all right? O'Shea,
Over here.
are you hurt?
No, I'm okay. What happened?
I don't know.
Was it a meteorite?
No, it was some sort of explosion. I'll have to check.
Look at it. What a mess.
This can be cleared up. The external damage is what worries me.
Oh, what a shambles.
You can't be thinking of carrying on as if nothing had happened.
Why not? As long as we're in one piece, the show goes on.
We could have been killed.
But we weren't. We telecast as scheduled.
I need more time to assess the damage.
You worry too much.
I still think I should go outside and take a look.
You can. We're on the air in 2 minutes.
Now you listen to me. We're in serious trouble. We've moved in orbit. The explosion must have given us a slight deceleration.
Makes sense.
We're on a long, slow descent. Just as if we'd fired our retros.
You mean we're heading for the Earth?
Yeah.
Well, okay, we'll land. What's the problem? We're built for re-entry. We had to come down sometime anyway.
Not without braking parachutes. Look.
So?
So there's nothing to slow us down. We're heading for re-entry and annihilation. I'll have to go outside. I should have done so in the first place.
Now, wait a minute, Loman.
I don't think you realize the seriousness of the situation.
All I know is I wouldn't go out there for a sack full of diamonds.
Someone's got to go.
And so, Holman stepped through into the airlock and climbed into his pressurized suit, ready for his walk in space.
Rather you than me.
Closing airlock.
Open out a door.
As the outer door opened, he stepped through into space with only a thin lifeline to stop him from drifting away. In using his thruster pack, he began to examine the damage caused by the explosion. Most of it was minor, but then he found what he'd been dreading all along. The outer skin had been holed by the blast.
I'm at the damaged area. What can you see?
Loman, how is it?
Not good. I'm coming back for a laser.
Can you fix it?
I don't know. Maybe. Close the outer door.
Opening airlock. Hey, Loman, the door's jammed.
Try again.
It's not moving.
Keep trying.
It's no good.
O'Shea, you've got to get me out of here.
Maybe I can... Hey, Loman, tell me how to switch on for transmission.
Transmission?
Yeah, transmission. I'm gonna put out a call for help.
You only need to switch on the power. It's all set up.
Fine. Hang on, old buddy.
Right.
This is station KLA. We're in real trouble and need help urgently.
Luckily, Tintin, who was a keen fan of Ricochet, had tuned back in for the telecast.
I gotta keep trying. This is station KLA. This is an emergency call. We need assistance most urgently.
Will anyone hearing this please make contact? Come in, please. Anyone, please help us. We need help desperately.
Alan, come quickly. I think I have an assignment for international rescue.
Go ahead, Mr. Tracy. You have a direct radio link with O'Shea.
Thank you, Brains. This is International Rescue to Space Station KLA.
International rescue, wonderful. Loman's trapped and I can't understand the circuit. The door's jammed and...
Take it easy, take it easy. Now tell me clearly and slowly what happened.
Well, there was some sort of explosion. Our space station was damaged.
Do you know the extent of the damage?
No, but Loman said something about being knocked out of orbit.
Can you give me any further details?
I'm sorry, I can't.
I see. Listen, Mr. O'Shea, stay tuned to this frequency. We'll be with you as fast as we can. Virgil, launch Thunderbird 2. You go with them, Brains.
Yes, Mr. Tracy.
Alan and Scott, take Thunderbird 3. Now, let's get those Thunderbirds flying.
Yes, sir.
Loman, can you hear me? Hang on, old buddy. Come on. Come on, he can't hold out much longer.
Thunderbird 3 to KLA. Over.
Thunderbird 3 to KLA.
KLA, hearing you loud and clear. How soon will you be here?
We're approximately 3 minutes away.
We'll be in visual contact any second.
Well, that must be it.
They're losing altitude. We'll have to work fast before they begin re-entry.
This is Thunderbird 3. We're going to come alongside. When we're in position, open the outer airlock door.
Right. O'Shea, is Loman conscious?
No, he doesn't answer. He must have passed out. Going across. FAB, Ellen. He's in a bad way. I'm bringing him back.
Okay, Ellen. You be careful.
Is he okay, Ellen? Just about.
We're losing altitude every second. I estimate we'll re-enter Earth's atmosphere in about 4 minutes.
Okay, Scott. Tell O'Shea to get into a spacesuit. Lohman will be all right. I'm going back to help O'Shea.
Right. Now listen carefully, O'Shea. Lohman will recover. Put on a spacesuit.
We're going to get you out, and there isn't much time.
Listen, I won't be able to do it.
This time, as Alan crossed to the stricken pirate capsule, he took with him a portable laser cutter. It was the quickest method of releasing O'Shea, and time was rapidly running out.
No good. I can't do it.
I'm in the airlock. Make sure you have the spacesuit on correctly. I'm going to cut through the door.
ISC to International Rescue. International Rescue receiving a 5x5. We understand you are assisting Space Station KLA.
Right.
We have radar contact with the vehicle. It is now in a suborbital descent.
Well, don't worry. The men on board were transferred. We've been standing by.
I'm glad to hear it. But there's something else. The space station is heading for a direct hit on the oil installation at Abbendu.
Wow. Just about the biggest refinery in the Middle East.
That's right. The impact would cause widespread damage and fire's a certainty.
Position understood. We'll do what we can. Out. Well, Brains, how do we do it? I think we can tilt the spacecraft off course. It's using Thunderbird 2 like a bumper car. That's about it, Virgil. Okay, Brains. Let's go.
Boy, I've seen some hair-raising flying in my time, but Virgil sure takes the biscuit. He used a giant Thunderbird 2 as though it were a fighter plane until we were alongside the pirate capsule. Then came the tricky part.
It's not working, Brains. We'll just smash ourselves up.
With only the wing as a lever, he had to move the capsule off course. The danger was immense. It needed only one slip, and we would both have gone crashing to our deaths.
Steady, Virgil.
Time after time, Virgil tried to turn the capsule off course, but it wasn't working. We could see the refinery buildings below us shining in the sunlight. It looked as though we had failed. Then with one final jolt...
You've done it, Virgil. Oh, okay. Well, level out.
The capsule went hurtling on and exploded harmlessly in the desert.
Phew. That was close. Let's go home.
We had a great reception back at base after that rescue. In fact, not long after our return, there was a request song played for us on the video. Tintin had written to... Yeah, you guessed it. Ricochet. And back in business again. But this time, back on Earth. Cheerio for now.
You've been listening to Ricochet, brought to you by Jerry Anderson with help from his fan club, Fanderson. The series was produced for Radio 5 by Christopher Aldrich. Coming up next week on Thunderbirds, Move and You're Dead.
1 year ago, America's most promising racing driver, Alan Tracy, announced he was retiring from the racing world. And now, today, he is sweeping round the course, heading for what seems to be certain victory. Wow! What a finish this is going to be. Here they come, ladies and gentlemen. Here they come. Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to announce the result of the Parola Sands race. The winner in today's exciting competition was Alan Tracy.
We should have fixed his engine like I said, Johnny. Boy, I'd like to lay my hands on the designs for that car. Yeah, then we'd really be in the big time. Listen, Vic, we've had this guy on our backs long enough. I got a plan to fix this Alan Tracy for good and all.
That's next Monday, ETA 8:05 on Radio 5. FAB.
BBC Radio
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
International Rescue are back on Radio 5.
Thunderbirds are go.
The bomb. It's due to go off.
It seems that nothing is impossible for this fabulous machine and its driver, Alan Tracy.
They certainly knew what they were doing when they planned this.
Nothing's got to stop us from getting that prize money.
Webster has failed to negotiate with them at Chap's corner.
Wow! What a finish this is going to be.
Listen, Vic, I got a plan to fix this Alan Tracy for good and all.
Tonight's episode, Move and You're Dead, introduced by Thunderbirds mastermind, Jerry Anderson.
I walked into my 5-year-old son's room and found him playing the video of Move and You're Dead. I was surprised how good the racing car sequences were. To achieve this type of scene, we used a device that I had dreamed up, which we called the roller road. It comprised a rotating road painted on canvas. Behind the road, cut-out scenery moved at a slower speed, and behind that a sky moved almost imperceptibly. In the foreground, hedgerows, telegraph poles, and the like would flash by at great speed. The whole thing was motorized and geared so that all we had to do was place a model vehicle onto the roadway, switch on, and we would get an illusion of the vehicle racing along a road with totally believable perspective. The puppets, too, were superb. Even the revamps, our word for guest artists. We had a number of so-called revamp puppets that were, apart from their eyes, faceless. We would sculpt temporary faces onto them with plasticine to create guest artists for an episode. And then we would tear them off again, ready for the next picture. If the revamp characters were really good, we would keep them for future episodes, changing the color of their hair, or maybe giving them a moustache or a beard to create a new character. We ended up by having our own puppet casting directory, complete with photographs, just like the professional casting directory Spotlight used for real actors and actresses. Today's story is really worth listening to, so stay where you are and remember, move and you're dead.
They're gone, Alan. Hey, what are you up to? You're moving.
Hold it, Grandma. Don't get excited. I'm just trying to reach my telecall.
Oh, careful, Alan. Remember what they said. If we disturb the ultrasonic waves, that thing could blow us sky high.
Calling International Rescue. Calling International Rescue.
Alan told us of the deep trouble that he and Grandma were in, and how they'd been forced to climb high onto a girder of the bridge. Below them, hundreds of feet down, shimmering in the haze, was the rocky valley. Thunderbirds 1 and 2 were launched, and we hoped against hope that they would be able to reach Grandma and Alan in time.
The bridge of San Miguel, that's where they are.
Oh, it's a lonely spot, Mr. Tracy.
Yeah. The bridge won't be open to the public for 2 months yet. They certainly knew what they were doing when they planned this.
And the bomb, it's due to go off when?
Sometime around 1300 hours, according to Alan. But that's only part of it. They've left behind them an ultrasonic generator which can detonate the bomb earlier if anything on the bridge moves. Now, you'd better pass on this information to Scott and Virgil while I work out a plan of action.
Yes, Mr. Tracy. Do you think they can hold out?
I hope so. But the noonday sun can be pretty savage in those parts.
They must be well on their way by now, Grandma.
Trouble is, Alan, I don't think I can take much more of this heat.
Now, Grandma, you've got to hold on.
Yes. Got to hold on.
Grandma.
Grandma had fainted, but luckily she fell towards an angle of the girders and was wedged in one of the bridge supports.
Alan, can you hear me?
Yes.
Then concentrate on what I'm going to say. You've got to keep talking till Scott and Virgil get there. Do you hear me?
Keep talking. Yeah.
I want you to tell me exactly how you got into this fix. Tintin and I want to hear the whole story.
Okay. Okay, then. It all started the day we went to pull the sand. Everything was going the way we planned. It looked like nothing could go wrong. From up there in Thunderbird 2, the world sure looked pretty.
We're nearly there.
I found it, Alan. When you reach the highway, you turn left, and then you come to the racetrack on your right.
And you meet Kenny Malone there.
Yep, that's right. Boy, that guy's a great mechanic. Wait till he sees what we got tucked up in the pod. Pity you two can't come to the sands with me, though.
Alan, you know we can't. Supposing Father received a distress call while we were gone. Anyway, we'll be watching the telecast.
I guess I'm lucky getting leave like this.
Well, it's not a pleasure trip altogether, you know. Brains will want to know how his new engine works under prolonged stress. I wish that Virgil and I could have stayed for the race which was going to take place the next day, but we had to get back to the island. Alan drove out towards the racecourse. Oh, it really was a beautiful car. He was going to park it for the night on the racecourse car stacker.
You're welcome. Gee, Kenny, it's great to be back at the old game again.
Yeah. I bet you missed the excitement of the circuit. What have you been doing with yourself?
Oh, this and that. Family business, you know. Hey, isn't that Victor Gomez over there? Hi there, Gomez. How you been?
Hello, Tracy. When did you get into town?
Just got here.
I thought you'd retired from the racing business.
No, you won't get rid of me that easily.
I hear you brought quite a car with you, Tracy. I reckon you're going to win the trophy?
I'll let you know, Gomez. I'll let you know.
Hey, Vic, I thought you said Alan Tracy had quit. Well, it looks like he changed his mind. I don't like it. We had this contest all sewn up till that guy came along. Look, Vic, nothing's got to stop us from getting that prize money. Nothing. Don't worry, Johnny. Nothing will.
The starter's flag was up. The testing time for Brain's car and Alan's return to the racing world had arrived.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, here at Parola Sands, history is being made. It seems that nothing is impossible for this fabulous machine and its driver, Alan Tracy. But the genius who invented it, ladies and gentlemen, still prefers to remain anonymous. Racing driver Alan Tracy announced he was retiring from the racing world. And now, today, he is sweeping round the course, heading for what seems to be certain victory. Wow! What a finish this is going to be. Tracy and Gomez are now neck and neck as they battle their way to the finish. And here they come, ladies and gentlemen. Here they come. Ladies and gentlemen, I am happy to announce the result of the Parola Sands race. The winner in today's exciting competition was Alan Tracy, who gained a lead over the former champion Victor Gomez in the last lap here at Parola Sands.
We should have fixed his engine like I said, Johnny. Boy, I'd like to lay my hands on the designs for that car. Yeah, then we'd really be in the big time. Listen, Vic, we've had this guy on our backs long enough. I got a plan to fix this Alan Tracy for good and all.
Yeah. Victory.
Alan, you're doing great. Now carry on with your story. What did you do next? Alan, answer me.
Alan? Mr. Tracy, he doesn't answer.
Alan, what did you do next? We're waiting.
Well, I set out to collect Grandma.
Are you sure you won't have some more apple pie?
No thanks, Grandma. Boy, your cooking is certainly going to be popular at the base.
Goodness. I just can't believe that I'm joining International Rescue Team at last. I'm that proud of you boys and all the wonderful things you do. Of course, I'm a celebrity in these parts, too, you know.
How's that?
Well, after you won the Parola Sands competition, I had the press all around asking me questions.
What kind of questions?
Well, about who designed the car and what route we would be taking when we went on our trip together.
Gee, I hope you didn't tell them.
Oh, I told them all right. I told them everything they already knew.
Good girl. International Rescue.
Go ahead, Alan.
We are leaving in a few minutes. We'll call again when we are at rendezvous.
FAB.
Hardly anyone in sight. And all the time I felt 1,000 eyes peering at us from behind every rock.
Sure is lonesome, Alan.
Yeah, but it means we can travel faster.
Alan and Grandma sped on. They did not know that the road signs had been tampered with. How could they have guessed that just round the next bend, the road would be blocked?
Gomez.
Okay, Tracy. You're gonna drive this car around the corner and onto the center of the bridge. Now get going. More of this car that meets the eye. You and your buddies are onto something new, and we want to know what it is. We were the tops till you whipped us.
Come on, Johnny, cut the talk. I want to try this beaut.
Now put that generator down in front of you, Tracy, and don't try anything.
What is that, Alan?
Never mind. Sit down over there against the support.
You better explain to the old lady, Tracy, else she might cause a whole heap of trouble.
Is it a bomb?
Sort of.
Yeah, sorta. We fixed the real bomb right under this roadway here. It's gonna go off in a couple of hours. But that other box is just an extra present. We're gonna keep you covered till we've left the bridge. And then you've only got to make just one move and disturb the ultrasonic waves from that generator and pow! So long!
They've gone, Alan.
Quiet, Grandma.
Brains, Tintin has found a newspaper cutting of the bridge of San Miguel. Think it'd help you to take a look at it.
Right, Mr. Tracy. Okay, thanks. At least now we know what sort of terrain we'll be working on. We obviously can't go too near the bridge. We don't know how localized that generator's power is.
Okay, Father. I've landed at the rescue zone.
Good.
Tell Virgil to land on slope P701. I'm going to contact Alan. Alan, listen to what I have to say. How localized are the ultrasonic waves from the generator?
No. Keep away. Mustn't come near. Detonate the bomb.
Alan, the generator. How powerful is it? Do you know?
Keep away. Can't go on much longer. Can't feel my legs anymore. Can't keep up much longer.
Oh, please hold on, Alan. Please.
2 more minutes, Alan. That's all we need. Virgil is nearly there.
Coming into land on slope P701 as advised, Scott.
Make it fast, Virgil. Alan's almost had it.
Right. Stand by, Brain.
can't take any more.
1 minute more. Brains is gonna neutralize the generator. They don't have time to look for the bomb itself. Just hold on, Alan. You're gonna be okay.
Brains moved the parabolic reflector half-track machine from the open pod and took careful aim at the generator.
Neutralizing. Now. Generator neutralized. Okay, Virgil.
It was nearly 1300 hours. There was very little time, almost no time at all. Alan and Grandma had to be rescued from the high girder. Virgil drove his transporter alongside the girder and set the vertical thrust air jets at full blast. If Alan and Grandma could jump into the jet streams, then Virgil could gently ease the pressure and lure them on a cushion of air to safety.
Okay, let's clear the bridge. It's going up at any moment.
Road, you jerk. Okay. I can't get used to this geared steering. Hey, what was that? Tracy, the old lady must have escaped. Okay, keep your foot down. We gotta lose this guy. Crazy. They're going to crash.
Base from Thunderbird 2. Leaving danger zone. Mission successfully completed.
Recovered from the heat and exhaustion, and Alan is his old self again. It was a great pity that Brain's wonderful invention should have been smashed to pieces. But on the other hand, it's given him the excuse to design an even faster car in time for next year's Parola Sands race.
You've been listening to Move and You're Dead. Brought to you by Jerry Anderson with help from Century 21, the official Jerry Anderson magazine. The series was produced for Radio 5 by Christopher Aldrich. Coming up next week on Thunderbirds, the Imposters.
This is Agent 47 calling International Rescue Base.
Go ahead, Agent 47.
Messages still coming in, Alan?
Yeah. This one's from Agent 47. Sounded sort of hillbilly.
47. Oh, 47. Oh, Jeremiah. Yeah, he's a hillbilly, all right.
Who the heck's that?
Oh, he's quite a character. What's he got to say, anyway? Aircraft tire tracks. Open country. Could be an aircraft made a forced landing there. What's on your mind, Mo?
Well, I was just wondering if there's anything out of that old mine.
Yep. So wondering the same thing myself.
Hey, this is the best hideout I ever had, Jenkins.
Yeah, the best deal. We make a fortune. An International Rescue take the rap.
Yeah, kind of tough on those guys, though.
Yeah, I'm eating my heart out.
That's next Monday, ETA 8:05 on Radio 5. FAB.
Radio 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
International Rescue are back on Radio 5.
Thunderbirds are go. We daren't operate as International Rescue until this whole business is cleared up.
What do you mean they'll be off the air for 4 hours?
I just hope that one of our agents somewhere will find something.
This is Agent 47 calling International Rescue Base. We make a fortune. An International Rescue take the rap.
Right. Penny, tell Parker to stand by with the rolls.
Right, Jeff.
SO3 from Search Control. Come in, please.
We'll find them, boys. We've got to.
Tonight's episode, The Imposters, introduced by Thunderbirds mastermind, Jerry Anderson.
When we were making Thunderbirds, people would ask how it was possible to keep coming up with new ideas for stories. Contrary to popular belief, it always became easier to think of script ideas as the series progressed. I think this was because one developed a mental picture of the characters, the way they would behave in given circumstances, and of course, the capabilities of their hardware. One of the key fallout points in Thunderbirds was that the hardware was so advanced that other nations would pay a fortune for the secrets of the Thunderbird machines. At that time, the Cold War with Russia was in full swing, and not wanting to fuel the fire, I made sure the people who were after International Rescue secrets were never Russian. Their arch-enemy at the hood was an Oriental. Another key point in the format was to predict the future, and it is interesting that today's episode deals with testing missiles designed to destroy enemy missiles in space, just like those developed for the American Star Wars system. Today's program deals with the worldwide network of International Rescue's agents and features one of them, a hillbilly by the name of Jeremiah. I always thought the magic moment in the original episode was when he kicked his stove, but it transformed into a high-tech long-range radio, enabling him to speak direct to Jeff Tracy. Okay, Jeremiah, here we go. Let's see how you helped International Rescue tackle the imposters.
Well, I guess I never thought I'd see the day when International Rescue would be hunted down like common criminals, but that's just what was happening. Some pretty mean crooks had faked a rescue at the Aeronautical Research Station, using our name and uniforms in order to steal the plans of the AL-4 Space Interceptor missile, which could change the whole balance of power in the world if it ever got into the wrong hands. But now, we were in a whole heap of trouble. World security were scouring every corner of the globe to find our headquarters. Of course, I knew our cover-up would stand any scrutiny, but what if our help should be needed during the search? We
just couldn't blast off and take a chance that our position would be plotted. All we could do for now was keep our fingers crossed and follow the search progress on the video.
And this is your World Television reporter, Eddie Kerr, bringing you the latest in the search for the traitorous International Rescue Gang of Crooks.
Traitorous crooks. How do you like that?
I heard, Virgil. We filmed an interview today with General Lambert, Supreme Commander of the search operation, and, well, let's take a look at it.
We know what's going on without having to listen to that.
What are their chances of finding us, Mr. Tracy?
They won't find us, Tintin. We're too well hidden for that. They'll search the island, of course, but people have been here before. That's no problem.
Well, what are we going to do, Dad?
Only one thing we can do, Scott. Find those guys, those imposters who stole the plans. Meanwhile, we daren't operate as International Rescue until this whole business is cleared up.
But where do we start, Father? We haven't a thing to go on.
Well, this is where our agents come in. As you know, International Rescue have got agents all over the world. This map shows the network and the territories covered by each individual. All agents will be alerted. Every piece of information, however unimportant it is, to be radioed in. Lady Penelope will leave for the States in order to question eyewitnesses in case they can throw some light on the situation. We'll find them, boys. We've got to.
Will passengers in the first-class wing compartments please fasten their safety belts?
Oh, very nice. I must say, milady, I always think myself it's the best way to travel. First class. Worth that bit extra. Oh, mind you, the service isn't quite what I would expect, but these young fellas don't have the training that I had.
Quite, Parker, quite. Difficult. It will be very difficult.
I beg your pardon, ma'am?
Oh, nothing particular, Parker. I just hope that one of our agents somewhere will find something.
Penelope was to get her wish sooner than she expected.
Where'd that critter get?
Somewhere in the hills of Tennessee, Agent 47 was out hunting.
Yes, sir. Reckon that'll do for supper. Strange. Mighty strange. Hi there, Ma.
Huh?
I reckon I'm a mite late, but had to get up to the old mine on account of some business.
Business? What business?
Well, now, Ma, it ain't for me to see. Kind of between me and that there Mr. Tracy.
What you see?
Can't rightly see. But the orders were to report anything that might suspicious. And that's sure what it was. Suspicious. This is Agent 47 calling International Rescue Base.
Go ahead, Agent 47.
47's call came through at the same time as a World Security Patrol called to search the island. Alan took it in the emergency control room.
They gone, Father?
They have for now, but my guess is they'll be back. Messages still coming in, Alan?
Yeah. This one's from Agent 47. Sounded sort of hillbilly.
47. Oh, 47. Oh, Jeremiah. Yeah, he's a hillbilly, all right.
Who the heck's that?
Oh, he's quite a character. What's he got to say, anyway? Aircraft tire tracks. Open country. Could be an aircraft made a forced landing there. Not much to go on. File it, son. No action.
What's on your mind, Ma?
Well, I was just wondering if there's anything out of that old mine.
Yep. So wondering the same thing myself.
sure enough, deep in the workings of the old mine, two of the crooks were gloating over their achievement while a third member was away bringing back a buyer for the stolen plans.
Hey, this is the best hideout I ever had, Jenkins.
Yeah, the best deal. We make a fortune. An international rescue take the rap.
Yeah, kind of tough on those guys, though.
Yeah, I'm eating my heart out.
That was the message I picked up, Dad. The space station watching for us in the whole Pacific area has closed down for 4 hours.
Thanks, John. It doesn't make much difference. If we did manage to take off without being discovered, they'd track us on the return trip.
Yeah, I guess so. Just thought I'd let you know.
Sure. Oh, well, keep listening in. You may hear something to help us.
Okay. How's it going down there anyway?
We're plowing through the agent's reports, hoping for a lead.
I wish you luck.
Oh, at least we're not the only ones with troubles.
What do you mean they'll be off the air for 4 hours?
That was a message, sir. Tracking device DKO has broken down.
Well, don't just stand there. Get them on the radio. I'll talk to them.
Okay, that's it. I'll start with the antennae. Work right back through the system. Yeah, I'll do the same from this end.
SO3 from search control. SO3 from search control. Come in, please.
This is Space Observatory 3. Go ahead, search control.
General Lambert for you.
Lambert here. Now listen to me. I want that space station of yours fully operational in the shortest possible time. If not sooner.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir. We're just about to start, sir. I'm going to send Elliot out through the airlock.
Then get to it, man. Get to it. Call me back when you've fixed it.
Right. Let's get started.
Elliot couldn't know as he stepped through that airlock in his pressurized suit that there was a fault in his thruster pack, his only means of propulsion in space. A fault that was to set Father his biggest problem yet.
Okay. I'm at the antennae.
How does it look? Can you tell?
Yeah. It looks like it's gonna be a long job.
All right. But don't rush it. Better use your tie ropes and double check them, too.
Tie rope, double check.
Okay, fine. They don't want you drifting off into space. Call me if you want me.
I gotta make a start in here.
And after the rescue operation, the imposters made off in their aircraft in a south-southwesterly direction.
Probably a blind. Although they wouldn't want to go too far out of their way.
I checked the weather reports for that day. North and east are out.
What sort of a jet was that again?
Well, Eddie Kerr wasn't too certain. Probably an EJ-2.
Well, that's not a long-range job. 1,000 miles at the most.
So the imposters couldn't have had far to go to their base.
It's not much to go on, but it suggests we'd be best to concentrate our attention on this area.
Well, which agent covers that area, Father?
47. 47? Hey, Alan, didn't we have something from Jeremiah Tuttle?
Yes, Father, we did. He reported seeing some aircraft tracks, remember?
Yes, I do. Right, Penny, tell Parker to stand by with the rolls. I've got another mission for you.
Right, Jeff.
Ain't that there the emergency call sign, Jeremiah?
Sure is. It's why I'm rushing, Ma. Go right ahead, Mr. Tracy, sir.
That report of yours, Jeremiah, about the undercar tracks. Looks like there might be something in it. I'm sending our London agent to see you.
Now, that's right doggone decent of you, Mr. Tracy. don't have many visitors around these parts.
Her name is Lady Penelope. I want you to meet her and give her all the help you can. She's going to investigate those tracks.
Tain't trouble, is it, Jeremiah?
Reckon it might be just that, Mo.
Hale, how you going? I've finished out here.
I've had to strip it right down, Elliot. There's still around 2 hours' work.
Stand by the airlock.
Sure.
Making one final check before re-entering the capsule, he unclipped the tie ropes and prepared to use his thruster pack. He could do nothing. It wouldn't switch off. He shot off into space like a rocket, over and over until the jets were exhausted.
There was nothing I could do, General. Elliot just shot off into space like a rocket.
His suit will protect him from the radiation, but allowing for the time he spent working outside, I guess he's only got about 3 hours of oxygen left.
3 hours? What for?
Well, there's no chance of you getting him back with the retro pack?
None. He moved too fast for me to get a direction. The only chance he has
As if you can get a rocket launched.
Listen, Hale, you know as well as I do just how long it would take to get a ship to your sector.
Yes, sir.
It's ironic, but only international rescue would have been...
International rescue? Suppose we just try and remember what this operation is all about, huh?
Yes, sir.
How long before you can get that satellite on tracking duty?
An hour, sir.
Then I suggest you get working. Elliot gave his life for the success of this detail. And I'm going to make sure it wasn't in vain.
Message received. Thanks, John.
But he's got just 3 hours up there.
We've got to do something, Father.
Alan, what can we do? Unless Penelope comes up with something, we can't make a move.
Right. Then that's our plan of action.
Kind of figured that as I know this part of the country, you'd let me handle it, Lady Penelope.
I'm sorry, Jeremiah, but I want this one all to myself. Come on, Parker.
Meanwhile, somewhere in the emptiness of space, Elliot was trying without success to contact his partner.
Hale, can you hear me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello?
But the range was too great for his small transmitter.
All right, boys. Alan, Scott, we're going after him.
The search is still on, Dad.
I'm well aware of that. But it's just feasible that Penelope will clear us in time. If not, we'll take everything as it comes. The thing that matters is that we're the only ones with any hope of saving that guy in space. Alan, take Scott with you.
Sure.
We've left it late, but do your best to save him. Okay, away you go.
I guess we knew all along what the decision would be when it came. But all the same, it was like a huge weight being lifted from us. Even though the outcome of this rescue could mean the end of Father's lifelong dream, through all the hard work that we had all put into the organization. I joined Alan on the couch in the lounge, and immediately it sank through the floor, taking us on our way to the Thunderbird 3 silo. In a matter of seconds, we were underneath the towering form of our interspace communications vehicle. Then we were being injected upwards through the boarding hatch into the flight control deck. While Alan settled into his takeoff couch, where he quickly went through the pre-launch procedure to ensure everything was A-OK for the trip, I set about zeroing the radar tracking equipment, which was needed if we were to find that guy up there. It would be like finding the proverbial needle in a haystack with all those satellites and meteorites about, but that's the chance we would have to take. Then, with all checks completed and final clearance from control, Thunderbird 3 blasted off. through the roundhouse, and up into space.
Sector 4 reports unidentified rocket launch.
Did they get a bearing?
No, sir. They didn't register till it was 2 miles up.
I can't believe it's international rescue, but keep a close watch on it anyway.
Yes, sir.
They would have pinpointed that launch site if the satellite had been with us.
I better switch on the tracking equipment. We're in the area.
Try increasing the range.
Well, I'll try. But if I extend it any more, we may pick up so many trails we won't know which is Elliot.
There. Did you see something?
Yeah.
Try it on vision. There he is.
Oh, what are we waiting for? Let's go and get him.
Hey, a few more hours, and the plane should be back with the fire.
That's it, Corella. And it'll take good American dollars to buy this little lot. They can keep their foreign money.
Outside, Penny and Parker had arrived.
This must be it, lady.
We've got them cornered, all right. I'll fire a warning shot. Oh, no. Parker, why did I ever come here? Why? Look at all this mud. It's everywhere.
Someone out there. Get the rifles.
It's not so loud, milady. If they hide there, they'll hear you.
Oh, Parker, why didn't I let those hillbillies do this?
With her gun out of action, well, there was nothing they could do.
Guess I'll shoot first and ask questions after.
Guess it's about time I took a hand, Mo. You better come on out of there and give yourselves up.
Oh, Jeremiah, we thought someone was firing at us.
If they got us hemmed in, Jenkins.
Maybe they have, but we don't give up that easy. Come and get us, wise guy!
Oh, dear, they're going to make a fight of it, Jeremiah.
Yep, kind of looks that way. Pass me those cans of beans, will you, Mo?
Beans? But this is no time to eat.
Eat? I guess you ain't been round these parts long enough to have heard about Mo's beans, man.
Jeremiah then did the oddest thing. He tossed the 2 cans of beans that Ma Tuttle handed him into the mine shaft.
They got us pinned down now. Okay, you win.
Hey, let's get out of here.
Well, this is where we say goodbye, Elliot.
Yeah, I know I keep saying it, but you guys saved my life. Thanks. And, well, it's just great that you guys have been cleared. You can say that again.
That call for us from base sure lifted a lot of worries.
Well, there's no one better qualified than me to say it's terrific to see international rescue back in business.
Boy, do we agree with that. After those imposters were safely behind bars and the secret papers returned to the Aeronautical Authority, we had a real wing-ding party to celebrate our success. There's still one thing that puzzles me, though. Those beans.
listening to The Imposters, brought to you by Jerry Anderson with help from his fan club, Fanderson. The series was produced for Radio 5 by Christopher Aldrich. Coming up next week on Thunderbirds, the CHAM.
I just can't get Brains and Alan to eat anything today. They say they haven't got time.
Well, Mother, they've just got to get the combination of this code cracked.
Really? It seems to me... Oh.
Go ahead, Penny.
Jeff, urgent news. We've traced the men who've been sabotaging the transporter planes.
Good work, Penny. Brains, are you there?
I want you up here right away.
I'm on my way.
Okay, Penny. We gotta work fast.
Right. Now, Tintin's going to show you some of the evidence. Now, this, of course, was after that machine of his had done the translating for him.
That's it? Oh, of course. Why didn't I think of it before?
Think of what, Brains? What are you talking about?
That's it. It's a CHAM.
A CHAM?
What's a CHAM, Brains?
That's next Monday, ETA 8:05 on Radio 5. FAB.
Four, 3, 2, 1.
International Rescue are back on Radio 5.
Thunderbirds are go.
Call action stations. Yes, sir. These aircraft must be destroyed.
Yes, sir.
Parker, we are off on a mission again.
We've got to save that next transporter aircraft.
This is International Rescue.
Olson! Olson, cut that out!
What was that? I don't like this at all.
He's cut the cable.
Your transporter craft was about to be destroyed by enemy fighters.
He won't make it in time. It's a CHAM.
A CHAM.
Tonight's episode, the CHAM, introduced by Thunderbirds mastermind, Jerry Anderson.
Radio Maxwell, Paradise Peaks, and the Cass Carnaby Group. Today's story couldn't be anything to do with show business, could it? When I listened to the record again, I was amused to hear the name Radio Maxwell. We were always predicting the future, and we came pretty close on that one. The CHAM was about show business through and through. Set in the spectacular hotel, Paradise Peaks, high in the Alps, with show business personalities a dime a dozen. This episode gave our art and wardrobe departments a chance to show what they could really do when it came to a supermarionation version of a Hollywood musical, and they didn't let us down. Bob Bell, who had art-directed most of our films, turned in some spectacular settings. The ski sequences were, in my view, quite stunning, and the puppets skied superbly, thanks to our chief puppeteer, Christine Glanville. I remember at the time thinking that the puppets would be able to ski downhill with comparative ease, but it wouldn't be so easy when they had to climb uphill and use their sticks. So I dreamed up ski thrusters for them, small jets fitted to their skis which would propel them uphill without the puppets having to make too many difficult movements. The idea worked perfectly. And now we go over to Paradise Peaks to hear Wanda Lamour and the Cass Carnaby Group, as featured on Radio Maxwell, sing and play a dangerous game called the CHAM.
I wonder if it was a coincidence.
What are you talking about, Alan?
It's that tune, Dangerous Game. Just before the transporter crashed, they were playing it on Radio Maxwell.
Well, so what? What's unusual about that? They must have played that tune 1,000,000 times on the radio in the past month.
Yeah, but they were playing it on Radio Maxwell before the other transporters crashed, too. The first one and the second.
What are you getting at, Alan?
Well, Dad, it's simply that each time these transporter planes have been attacked, the Cass Carnaby 5 have been giving a live performance of their number.
Live? That was pretty observant of you.
But surely the Cass Carnaby 5 can have nothing to do with this business?
Well, there could be a connection, you know. Where are they now?
Right now, they're doing a season at Paradise Peaks.
Hey, isn't that super deluxe hotel high up in the Alps?
Yeah, that's right.
What do you think, Brian?
It's certainly an interesting observation that Alan has made. I'll get John in the satellite to radio us a recording of that Cass Carnaby broadcast and see what I make of it.
Right. Meanwhile, we get this hotel investigated. And I know just who to send there.
Parker, we are off on a mission again.
Oh, very good, milady. What sort of business will it be this time?
Show business, Parker. I believe you have connections in the theater world.
Oh, yes, milady. Excellent connections.
Wanda Lamour. Oh, who the heck's Wanda Lamour, anyway?
She's by way of being a very provocative talk singer.
Look, Nosey, I'd really love to do you a favor, just for old time's sake, but I run a big agency here. I can't send out to Paradise Peaks a singer I've never even heard of.
Now, that is a pity. Because I was in the States last week, and I was only saying to Punchy Patterson...
Huh? Punchy Patterson? I thought he was inside.
Punchy? Now, I ask you, could you see a bloke like Punchy staying long behind bars? With his muscles?
Nosey, what are you getting at? You didn't tell him I'm over this side now, did you?
Well, to tell you the truth, Maxie, I didn't really know what to do. He was in a very anxious state. Very anxious indeed. Kept on about some unfinished business.
Yeah, well, all right, Nosey, I get the message. You want to do a deal.
That's right, Maxie. You engage Wanda Lamour at Paradise Peaks.
And you keep your mouth shut. Okay, then. What's this Wanda Lamour like? Is she blonde or brunette?
Good. I think that ought to do the trick. Come in.
Oh, beg pardon, miss. But I was looking for her ladyship.
So you didn't recognize me. Well, it looks as if my disguise is a success. I should go down well.
Well, they say that if you go down well at Paradise Peaks, you'll go down well anywhere.
You see, Alan, repeated melodic patterns from the Cass Carnaby group could be used to impede the efficiency of the aircraft.
But Brains, the transporters each time reported they were under attack. It was the fighters that shot them down.
True, but perhaps the music was affecting their ability to retaliate. However, I agree with you that there could be something in the music. Something like a musical code.
Well, let's try and decode it. Penelope and Tintin will be arriving at the hotel soon. They'll need all the help we can give them.
Her ladyship and Tintin were almost at the hotel. But despite the scenery, Lady Penelope was beginning to have some misgivings about the job ahead.
They weren't joking when they said this was the highest hotel in Europe. It really is a long way up. Yes, and I do feel rather lost without Parker. I'm beginning to wish we'd taken the Rolls with us. But remember what they said? It's a very long road and a dangerous one. Perhaps it's just this disguise that's making me nervous. Cheer up, Penelope. You'll be all right, provided they don't ask you to sing. Well, I'm just going to plead a little throat trouble. That should give us a chance to get on with our investigations for a while. Look, there it is. Paradise Peaks Hotel.
As soon soon as they'd introduced themselves and been shown their rooms, they set about looking around. Lady Penelope had glanced at the hotel register when she came in, but there was nothing to arouse suspicion. It was a real classy place, very modern, and the view from the balcony was fabulous. It must have cost a bomb to stay there, but there seemed nothing to indicate that there was any funny business going on. That evening, after her ladyship and Tintin had dined, they sat watching the floor show.
I just can't believe they've got anything to do with the sabotage business. I can't.
The real cause of their mission had just started his act. The cast Carnaby 5, and they were playing their signature tune, Dangerous Game, the very tune that International Rescue were taking such an interest in. Right enough, the handsome young man at the piano didn't look the type to be mixed up in anything shady, but until Brains came up with the result, who could tell?
Thanks a lot, ladies and gentlemen.
Isn't he gorgeous?
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to say hello to our next guest star here at the Peaks. I would ask her to sing for you, but unfortunately her opening has had to be postponed because of an infection in her pretty little throat. I give you Miss Wanda L'Amour.
After the show, Tintin went backstage to the star's dressing room.
Gee, Miss Carano, it was real nice of you to come round and see me like this. When did you get here?
Just today. I came with Miss L'Amour.
Oh, yeah. Miss L'Amour. The lady with a frog in her throat.
I must have heard Dangerous Game a million times, but it still knocks me cold every time I hear it, Mr. Carnaby.
Well, thanks. You're a bit of a knockout yourself, too, you know. And I wish you'd call me Cass.
All right. Cass. But you must get tired of playing that tune. Don't you sometimes want to vary it, change the tempo or something?
Well, we leave that to Mr. Olson.
Yeah, well, kids, I hate to break this up, but I have some things to attend to. A couple of points I'd like to raise with you too, Cass.
So Mr. Olson's your musical arranger?
Yeah. Funny guy, but he sure knows the business.
Funny? In what way?
Sometimes he'll make a last-minute change just before we go on the air. I tell you, it drives us crazy. Still, like I say, he knows the business.
Well, it's certainly funny that our paths have never crossed before, Miss L'Amour. I know most of the warblers in show business.
Oh, I've been around, High society keeps me pretty busy.
Yeah, that figures. But you're still a lady of mystery. You've told me everything and nothing. You intrigue me.
Oh, that's enough about me. Tell me about yourself, Mr. Olson. I hear you keep the Carnaby boys on their toes.
What else have you heard?
That you also are a mystery. Tell me, Mr. Olson, what is your secret?
Of my success or of my good looks?
Both, Mr. Olson. Both.
Plenty of beauty sleep, Miss L'Amour. And I'm afraid that's my cue to excuse myself from your very charming company.
Oh, so soon? Good night.
Lady?
Why, Parker. You're a sight for sore eyes. What are you doing here?
I've got a job as part-time bouncer, lady. I thought I might be more useful to you up here at the hotel.
Oh, Parker, we seem to be having very little success. How I would enjoy one of your splendid cups of tea.
Very good, lady. I'll fetch you some up at once.
Just right. Now tell me, how are your investigations going?
Well, m'lady, I did overhear your Mr. Holson talking to Benito, the head waiter. He was saying something about expecting a message tomorrow morning. Back at International Rescue Headquarters, Brains was still trying to solve the problem of the music.
How are the experiments going, Brains?
Well, Mr. Tracy, I definitely established that there's some kind of electronic pattern in the music. But I still got to decode the music before I'm sure there's a code in it.
The next morning, they set out on skis for Olsen's chalet, and from behind a bush, saw him sitting at a queer-looking contraption.
What's that machine he's working at?
I don't know. Some kind of electronic computer.
It was like a piano with hundreds of blinking lights on it, and sounded like a church organ gone berserk. Then, as they watched, the pattern of the lights began to spell out some words. He was receiving details of the next rocket transporter flight. Lady Penelope, using the camera hidden in the handle of her ski stick, took pictures.
Did you get a close-up on it?
I certainly did. Come on. We've got to warn Jeff. I just can't get Brains and Alan to eat anything today. They say they haven't got time.
Well, Mother, they've just got to get the combination of this code cracked.
Well, it seems to me... Oh.
Go ahead, Penny.
Jeff, urgent news. We've traced the men who've been sabotaging the transporter planes.
Good work, Penny. Brains, are you there?
I want you up here right away.
I'm on my way.
Okay, Penny. We gotta work fast.
Right. Now, Tintin's going to show you some of the evidence. Now, this, of course, was after that machine of his had done the translating for him.
That's it? Oh, of course. Why didn't I think of it before?
Think of what, Brains? What are you talking about?
That's it. It's a CHAM.
A CHAM?
What's a CHAM, Brains?
A CHAM is a new electronic machine that is sensitive to ultrasonic harmonics and microtones. Now that I know the technique they've been using, I'll soon break their code.
Right. We've got to save that next transporter aircraft.
Brains proved from the code that Holson had been getting messages to a foreign power, giving flight plans and times of the rocket transportation. This was how they were able to intercept and destroy them. At Mr. Tracy's command, Scott, in Thunderbird 1, was preparing to leave for Matthews Field to try and convince them of the threat to the next flight. Meanwhile, Virgil and Alan had taken off for Paradise Peaks, with orders to stand by in case of emergency.
All right, Cass. Let's try to tune this way tonight. There's just a few minor modifications.
But, Mr. Olson, I don't see what the point is.
Look, Cass, never mind the objections. When we drew up that contract, you agreed to do it my way.
Yeah, okay then. We'll change the arrangement for the broadcast.
That's my boy. Now, you better let the other fellas know. You're on in 5 minutes.
Thanks, Mr. Olson.
Cass, if you must alter the arrangement, you must change it to our way.
Look, Tintin, believe me, if you asked me to play dangerous game on 3/4 time, I'd do it, but I'd still want to know why.
Cass, don't let's go into that again. I can't tell you how I came to be involved in all this. Just trust me, please.
Right, boys, it's nearly time for the broadcast. Now let's see what's happening at Paradise Peaks. Brains, are you ready?
Yes, Mr. Tracy. I told Penelope how to alter the arrangement to divert those enemy fighters. I just hope they can persuade Cass Carnaby to play it that way instead of Olsen's.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
I am happy to present the Cass Carnaby 5.
Oh, dear. Only Penelope can save us now.
She done it. Lady Penelope had taught Cass Carnaby into playing her arrangement of dangerous game. The time had now come for us to scatter, and quick. So while they were still playing, we left to catch the cable car. It was up to Scott now.
This is International Rescue calling Matthews Field Control. A short time ago, we tried to tell you that your transporter craft was about to be destroyed by enemy fighters, but you would not listen. I am now to inform you that we have diverted these fighters and they are about to overfly the outskirts of this airfield.
That must be the 3 unidentified aircraft we just received a report about.
call action stations.
Yes, sir.
These aircraft must be destroyed.
Yes, sir.
So, International Rescue have done it again.
Oh, dear, I feel dreadful slipping away like this. We haven't even paid our bill.
Well, it's the only way to avoid Mr. Olsen.
I wonder where he can be.
Good. The 3 of them. Now to make sure they don't interrupt any more broadcasts.
That's strange. We've stopped. What was that?
I don't like this at all.
Olsen! Olsen, cut that out! But Mr. Carnaby was just too late. Paulson had cut almost through the cable. With nothing to hold it, we started to roll.
You crazy fool, the cables are free! That car will never stop!
What's that? Hey, just look at that! He's cut the cable.
Thunderbird 2 calling Penelope.
Come in, Penelope.
Loud and clear, Virgil.
Look, Penelope.
You're going to have to give us a hand with this. Let me talk to Parker. Gee, I hope Parker's got a good head for heights.
Virgil wanted me to climb out onto the roof to catch the cables that he lured and attach them to the car. If I didn't, there seemed no hope at all of stopping us. And don't mind telling you, I was petrified. By now we were tearing along at a terrific speed and swaying all over the place.
Right. Lowering cables. Now.
It's a good job there was plenty to hang on to up there. The force of the wind against me nearly pulled me off several times. It didn't look as though we would make it. There wasn't much further to go.
Parker, use this.
With Thunderbird 2 flying just overhead, the cables were lowered. The terrific slipstream made it difficult to catch them. But with the aid of her ladyship's umbrella, I caught the first one and attached it to the roof. Then, ever so slowly it seemed, I managed to grab and attach 2 more before we were too close. By now, we could see the end of the run and the crowd standing, watching.
He won't make it. He won't make it in time.
Hurry, Parker. Hurry.
Right, Alan. Stand by with retros.
Standing by.
Now!
The terrific jolt as Thunderbird 2 took the strain was too much. I was jerked right off the roof and landed smack in a deep snowdrift. But Lady Penelope and Tintin were saved. The cable car came to a standstill with only yards left to go. Cool. 'Cause they're glad that was over. You'll never catch me on one of those things again. Not for all the tea and wormwood scrubs. Mr. Carnaby handed that geezer Holson over to the police. And I'm happy to say that the rocket transporter plane had no trouble getting through after the fatteners had been destroyed. Oh well, back to the pantry, I suppose. Cheerio for now.
Listening to the CHAM, the last in this series of Thunderbirds. It was produced for Radio 5 by Christopher Aldrich. We'll leave the final words with Jerry Anderson.
This is the last in the series of reminiscences, courtesy of BBC Radio 5 and the old Century 2-1 record label. I do hope you've enjoyed them as much as I have. Maybe I can take this opportunity of thanking all the people who worked on the series. There were some 250 of them. They all helped to make Thunderbirds a legend. So from me, Jerry Anderson, FAB.